All right, so while you guys are getting warmed up a little bit and start asking us questions in the live chat, we are going to go over questions that we received throughout the week. And the first question is from Michelle W on YouTube. And she said, hey guys, I really do like what you guys are doing with the YouTube channel. I'm planning my trip to No, she didn't. She just said weather packing New Zealand, November. So we're going to cover the weather in November in New Zealand.
All right, you seem a little bit touchy about that.
I just thought that was funny to just have like a bunch of keywords. I think that was a Google search she was trying to do and she typed it in the comment.
Oh, well, we can still answer that for her.
Exactly. All right.
So, November in New Zealand. November is actually the last month of spring in New Zealand. So that usually means that the weather is getting warmer and it's usually a really good time to travel around New Zealand. This is because this is just before the craziness of the summer crowds all comes into New Zealand. You can usually enjoy the good weather while also having a little bit, less crowds around and feeling like you're enjoying more of the place to yourself. But as we're about to find out, that doesn't mean that there's going to be no rain or no maybe slightly chilly days, because the weather is very different throughout New Zealand. It really depends on which part of New Zealand you're in, and New Zealand is an island, so the weather is always changing, and that means that there can be rain at any time of the year. So
it's also in November, it's also sandfly season, especially in the South Island, so make sure that you are using insect repellent. You also want to make sure to have high factor sunscreen, because in November the sun is getting harsher and there is no protection between your skin and the sun in New Zealand, as it is right below the ozone hole. So the hole in the ozone layer. You also want to have a bunch of layers in your day pack, just because, as Laura says, is really changeable. And you're going to need to start booking things a little bit more in advance as the high season is starting. So that's our tips for traveling in New Zealand in November. But let's talk about the weather. Yeah. All right, so for the weather, we're going to be taking a map. We're going to talk about most of the, all the main regions of New Zealand. And we're going to go for average temperatures in November to begin with. So that's going to be the average temperature in those places. That doesn't mean this is what you're going to get all the time. It fluctuates quite a lot. It should give you a good idea what kind of temperatures you can expect in New Zealand in November. All right, so let's get started with northern New Zealand, which is Northland, Auckland and Tauranga. And that's 16 degrees Celsius, 60 degrees Fahrenheit. In central Northern, which is Hamilton, Taupo and Rotorua, it's 14 degrees Celsius, which is 57 degrees Fahrenheit. In southwest Northern, that's New Plymouth, Palmerston North and Wellington, it's 14 degrees Fahrenheit again, and that's 57 Fahrenheit. So 14 degrees Celsius, 57 Fahrenheit. Eastern Northern is Gisborne, Napier and Wairarapa region, that's 16 degrees Celsius, which is 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, moving on to the South Island, we have the Northern South Island, which is Picton, Nelson and Blenheim. That's 15 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 15 degrees Celsius, which is 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry about that. On the Western South Island, that's the wide West Coast, Westport, Hokitika and Milford Sound. That's 13 degrees Celsius, which is about 55 degrees Fahrenheit. In the Eastern South Island, which is Kaikoura, Christchurch and Timaru, it's 14 degrees Celsius, which is 57 degrees Fahrenheit. In inland South Island, that's Lake Taupo, Queenstown and Arrowtown and Alexandra and all of those little towns, it's 13 degrees Celsius, which is 55 degrees Fahrenheit. And in the southern New Zealand, Dunedin and Invercargill, that's 12 degrees Celsius, 53 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so that's kind of what you can expect temperature-wise. Now, precipitation, which means rainfall. So how much rain does New Zealand get? It's measured in millimeters. So how many millimeters of rain does New Zealand get in the month of November? So in the northern New Zealand, so we're going back up to Northland, Auckland and Tauranga, that's 80 millimeters. Again, remember that the weather kind of changes really often. So it doesn't mean you get a lot of rain in one time, maybe just a little bit of drizzle here for like about half an hour, and then moves on. So don't be too panicked. Central Northern, Hamilton, Taupo, and Rotorua, that's 90 millimeters. Southwest Northern, which is New Plymouth, Palmerston North, and Wellington, it's 70 millimeters. Eastern North Island, which is Gisborne, Napier, and Wairarapa, that's 60 millimeters. Northern South Island, moving on to South Island, Blenheim, Picton, Nelson, that's 80 millimeters. Western South Island, which is the wide west coast, always has the highest amount of rain, but that's what makes it really beautiful. I love the west coast, 300 to 540 millimeters, so a lot of rain. Eastern South Island, Kaikoura, Christchurch, and Timaru is 40 millimeters. Inland, it's Lake Tekapo and Queenstown, that's 30 to 70 millimeters. And southern New Zealand, Dunedin and Invercargill is 60 to 80 millimeters. So that's your kind of average, what you can expect weather-wise in New Zealand in November. Now, our best places to travel in New Zealand in November are...
Our best places are...
Favorite places, even.
One of the best places to visit in November is Milford Sound. This is because it's usually a little bit quieter, because it is obviously one of the most popular attractions in New Zealand, and in summer it's super busy. So just before those summer crowds come in, get that Milford Sound trip in by visiting in November, where you will get a few sunny days, but obviously this is in one of the wettest places in New Zealand, so do be prepared for rain as well. So another awesome place to visit is Aoraki Mount Cook National Park. There's a little village there called Mount Cook Village with lots of little walks, and during this time of the year, it's again before the summer crowds come, but at a time where it's usually all the thick snow is left, so you're just left with a sprinkling of snow everywhere, and it's a really good time to check out that beautiful snow-capped mountain scenery. The Tongariro National Park. We're just going through some of the places that are usually really popular in the summer season, so it is best to get there before the crowds come. And again, the Tongariro National Park is home to the most popular day hike in New Zealand, the Tongariro Crossing. And November is the first full month where the Tongariro Crossing is open for people once again to take the shuttles there and do their hike. So it's a good time to go there before it's crazy busy, and you still get to see a little bit of the snow on the surrounding volcanoes as well, which is pretty cool. Geraldine in the South Island, otherwise known as Rangitata. This is where you can get some of the spring snow melt on the white water, so you can do whitewater rafting.
Gushing is epic. It's good whitewater rafting over there in November. It's really, really good.
Absolutely. And then finally, Hamilton is home to one of the most, probably one of the most popular gardens in the whole country, which is the Hamilton Gardens. And because it's well into spring by November, this is where a lot of the flowers are in bloom, so it's a really awesome time to go and check out the Hamilton Gardens.
Here you go. So this is our take for traveling in New Zealand in November, between the weather, our favorite places, a few tips, and obviously when you're packing your bags for New Zealand, keep in mind all the tips that we give you. And if you do want some more information, we do have plenty to help you out on BackpackerGuide.NZ. So that's www.BackpackerGuide.NZ. We got the weather for all the months. So here you go. Like and subscribe if you found this useful. And I'm going back to live chat.